The way I used to view music is entirely wrong. There was a time in my life where I thought that if you loved pop music, then you must not really be a music fan. Like if the things that you listened to were things that you found on the radio, then you probably didn't take music very seriously. Now, I kind of hate that version of myself. So this video is part confession, part reflection on that, and maybe part apology, but also a little bit of encouragement for anyone else who has ever felt that way too. Because the one thing that I've come to realize is that the way I used to think about music is wrong. There's no wrong way to love music. Music was everything to me growing up, but somehow life got in the way, and for 15 years I barely listened to anything new. Now I'm 40 and I'm diving back in, one song, one album at a time, and sharing that journey with you. Welcome to Hendy Creek. When I was younger, and I'm talking like teens and early 20s, like high school and college age, music wasn't just something that I loved and enjoyed. It was a part of me. It was part of my identity. It wasn't just something that I liked. It was who I was. And at some point along the way, I formed this idea that there was a right and wrong way to love music. There was a right and wrong way to be a music fan. And usually it was something along the lines of, the more obscure or challenging or difficult to understand, the more experimental, the more underground your taste was, and the more legit you were as a music fan. If you were into stuff that was upbeat and happy and easily digestible and God forbid popular, then that was bad. I think the thing was that I wasn't just trying to enjoy music, I was trying to win music. And I don't think this was something that was like at the top of my head, at the top of my mind. It wasn't something that I probably would have articulated back then, but reflecting on it now, I think I was approaching music like it was a competition. Like you tallied up points based on what you listened to, and the more points you had or the more points you perceived someone else to have, then the cooler they were, the more legitimate they were as a music fan. And the thing is, it wasn't just me. Like this is the thing that I was surrounded by, especially in college, because I didn't go to college for music, but I went to a college that was a big music college, and that's the way it was, right? So I remember mentioning the band Incubus at one point and just getting absolutely eviscerated because they were on the radio. And eventually I realized that that's the game. And that's the game that I had to play. And that's the game, that I guess I wanted to play because I wanted to be considered, a worthy music fan. So that's what I did. And the problem with that, though, is that, obviously it led to these really like dumb, silly feelings of superiority as a music fan. Like my tastes were superior to other people's. It led me to judge other people's music preferences. But it also led me to miss out on a lot of really good music because I wasn't willing to give it a chance. It also kind of made me a jerk. But like I said, thankfully, I don't feel that way anymore. So what happened? What changed? Well, I think a few things. I think just generally getting older, maturing a little bit. I think taking a big, long break from listening to or even caring about music was a big part of it. And I also think that just spending a whole lot of time now exposing myself to a ton of music from a wide variety of genres and times has really helped a lot. At this point in my life, I'm really just not concerned with what people think about my tastes or preferences, really in anything. But on the flip side of that, that also means that I'm not concerned or worried about or judging anyone else's tastes or preferences. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think any of us need other people's permission to enjoy the things that we enjoy, to like the things that we like. We all listen to music for different things. We all connect with different things, whether it's emotionally or lyrically or rhythmically or just the vibes of a song or of an album. We all connect in different ways, and that's fantastic. And to add to that, I think at this point, I'm also just so out of touch with modern music that I have no hope of ever understanding what's cool and what's not ever again. I just want to listen to the music that I like, and I want other people to be able to do the same thing. And I think the thing that has helped the most for me with that is my project of listening through the 500 greatest songs of all time, the 500 greatest albums of all time, because I've just been able to listen to so much music that I otherwise would have written off or not given a chance. That's really been exciting for me. Like, if you had asked me in 2005 to listen to an MIA album, I would have laughed and said, no thanks, I'm not listening to that. But I listened to an MIA album this morning, her debut album from 2005, and it was friggin' great. And I wouldn't have had that experience otherwise. So today my philosophy is that there's just no wrong way to be a music fan. There's no competition to win. You can love top 40 pop music or the most obscure, challenging, experimental music in existence. But as long as you love it, that's cool. You can even love both of those things at the same time. You don't have to pretend that liking a Taylor Swift song is a guilty pleasure, because guilty pleasures are just a myth. If it makes you feel something, if it moves you, that's enough. Music is for everyone. There is music for everyone, and everyone's tastes are shaped by their life experiences. If you're passionate about music, even if it's something that somebody else doesn't like or doesn't appreciate, I think you're in the club. Tangentially, on a similar note, I was just thinking about, I used to be involved in a woodworking community online, and it's just another hobby of mine, something that I enjoy spending time doing. And there was always this really obnoxious discussion about who is a real woodworker and who isn't. And a real woodworker wouldn't use pocket holes or make farmhouse furniture or use epoxy or things like that. But to me, if you work with wood, if you make things primarily out of wood, then you're a woodworker. And I feel the same thing about music. If you enjoy music, I don't care what kind of music you enjoy. If you enjoy music, you're a music fan. I mean, for me, it just comes down to this one really big thing, which is just that music is one of the very few things that we still have that brings people together. So why use it to divide us? Why use it to put each other down? If you love music, you're one of us, and that's it. So here today at 40 years old, I'm really just grateful that my perspective on all of this has changed, because I'm so much more open-minded now in the music that I choose to listen to, that I've found so much good stuff that I otherwise would have written off. But I think bigger than that, I'm just a less judgmental jerk about what other people choose to listen to. And I'm honestly pretty embarrassed that that's the way that I used to be. But now I'm just excited to celebrate any and all music with everyone. So if you're like me and you used to, or maybe you still do, catch yourself looking down on people for their music tastes, just know that it's okay to change. It's okay to be open. It's okay to revisit stuff that you used to dismiss and share what you like with that. Really, I just would love to see everybody give themselves permission to love any and all music again. And if there's something that you've gone back to recently that you previously had written off but found out you actually kind of like, let me know down in the comments, because I'd love to check that out too. So in the end, if you love music, you're my people. And if you want to be a part of this, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm Kyle, and I've got some music to listen to.